Hi YouTube, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another gaming year in review. Today we are ranking all of the games we played together in 2025 and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about all these games. We're going to decide what my top 10 games are from 2025. Those will all be in the favorites of the year tier. Then next down is I would recommend this to people. So it's a game that I loved, but it wasn't a game that was my favorite of the year. The middle tier is good game, but it's a good game, but I have some issues, and we'll talk about that in depth when we get to those games specifically. Next down is one play was enough. It was a fine game, but it's not one that I could see myself replaying. And then one play was too much. These are just games that I blatantly disliked, and probably will never play again unless it is very highly requested or there's something else going on that makes me need to replay it. So those are the tiers. Let's get into it. First, we are starting with a putt-putt game. This looks like Joins the Parade, I think. Where's the other one? I'll be able to tell by comparing the other one. What if it's not in here? Am I blind? Some of the image files might not have actually come in here. Either way, both of the putt-putts are probably going to be in the same tier, and I'm going to say that one play was enough. They were cute little games. 1 and 2 were both cute little games, but not something that I could see myself replaying necessarily. But they were a good time when I played them. And I can definitely see the appeal for people who played them as kids and like the nostalgia factor. I just didn't play them as a kid, so the nostalgia factor was not really there. Then we have Amanda the Adventurer, which we played on a Fright night, and that was super fun. I love when a game has multiple endings. I love when a game has some good puzzles. This one has both. It also has, to me, a good balance of like spooky, creepy, but also it's kind of chill. Like, it's not jump scary, but it does give you a very unsettling vibe for a majority of the time that you're playing it. I think that I would recommend it to people. I think that that's going to be in a higher up spot because it was really good, and I'm excited to continue in the series. I want to play the second one. I don't know much about the third one. I'm not sure if I've ever even watched... Is the third one out? I know I've watched people play the second one, but I'm trying to think, is the third one out already, or is that just announced and to be released? That shows you how caught up I am in gaming news. Anyway, next, also from a Fright Night stream, third of Amanda the Adventurer. Has it just been announced, or is it released? That's the question that I asked. A Date in the Park, which is free to play on Steam, was also a Fright Night game. I'm gonna say... honestly, well, okay, I'm caught in between one play was enough and one was too much, because there really wasn't much to it, but it's not that I disliked it necessarily. Released in November 2025. Okay, so very recently released. I have not watched anyone play the third one, but I'm excited to see what's upcoming in the Amanda the Adventurer series. I think that I'm going to say one play was enough for A Date in the Park. There was definitely no replayability. It's a very short game. It does have a little bit of like shock value. There's like a twist at the end, which made it entertaining, to say the least. Mr. Goose thought that was funny. He thought that was funny. But anyway, one play was enough. One play was enough for that. Freddi Fish 2 and the Haunted Schoolhouse. This one, I think I'm going to feel the same way about the Freddi Fish games as the Putt-Putt games, although I did enjoy Freddi Fish more than Putt-Putt. Maybe I want to say good game, but Oh, there's another YouTube ad. Yeah, we're going to put Freddy Fish 2 in good game, but I don't really know if I have, like, specific reservations about it, but I could see a little bit of replayability in this one. I actually really enjoyed myself. But I wouldn't necessarily put it in my second place tier because it's such a simple game. It's a game for kids, you know. Early Freddy Fish is better than early Putt Putt in my opinion, so I am down for next tier up. Yeah, I agree with you for sure, Tori. I've only played the first two of both franchises, but Freddy Fish definitely appealed to me more than Putt Putt. Poppy Playtime, I've only played the first chapter so far. I love the franchise as a whole. I would say I would recommend it to people because I love a lore-heavy game. And this one is that. There's so much lore in this franchise, but because this is just chapter 1, it doesn't like dig super deep into that, which is the thing that I'm missing from chapter 1. And I absolutely will be playing more Poppy. Definitely. I believe I have all the chapters in my wish list. I think I got chapter 2 during the winter Steam sale. So I do have it on deck, ready to go for the next Fright Night. But yeah, I love the Poppy Playtime series. I'm excited to play more of them. Now, Indigo Park, this one has only had chapter 1 be released so far. I loved Indigo Park. I loved it. It was like the perfect difficulty level for me because if you've been watching for a while, you know that where I struggle in a horror game is if there's a chase scene and if it's... Yes, it's so broken. He's on the phone, for sure. If there's a chase scene or if the environment is really dark, like the lights are really low, and Indigo Park had like the perfect amount of both of those things. There was, I think, one chase scene that was kind of on the difficult side, but it wasn't like frustrating to me. And then for the most part, the amusement park was lit up. I did not have to squint my eyes. I didn't have to crank up the exposure levels in the game. And the story was very interesting to me. I'm honestly debating putting that in my favorites of the year, but I'm hesitant because we still have like 70 games to get through before I can say that I know my top 10. So I think that for now, we might revisit this when we get through all the games, but for now I would say that I recommend it to people, and that's where it's going to sit for the moment. But just know, I freaking loved it. I can't wait for chapter 2. I'm not into horror, so I don't think I can play the horror games, but I may want to watch someone play. I will have to see if I'm in the mood. That's totally fair. The horror genre is definitely not for everyone. Sometimes it's not even for me, but I do appreciate the amount of like world building and like story that go into a lot of horror games. That's what I tend to love, is a horror game that has a whole bunch of like plot and lore heavy narrative. So I love that. Okay, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I barely remember even playing this game. I cannot believe I played this in 2025. I did not finish this game, so it's safe to say that one play was enough. I could even bring it down to one play was too much, considering I did not finish it. And it's not even that it was a bad game, but it just like, something about it just didn't appeal to me. I don't know. We'll leave it here for now, but we might reconsider this one. Summer of 58, I also really loved. This one, the only problem I had with it was the like game exposure. It was a little too dark for me to see very easily, and I was like extremely unsettled the whole time. There were no moments of like breathing for me. So I don't know if I would recommend it to people. I think I'm gonna put it in the middle because I really did like it, and I wish that this developer had continued developing their second game. Is this the one where the creator didn't make a sequel because too many people returned the game because it was short and within the return window for Steam? Yes. Yes, people were upsetty spaghetti about like the length of this game, and they were saying that it wasn't good enough. And I feel like they were just being like picky. Like, give me a break. Some games do not have to be like super lengthy. You don't have to spend 30 hours in a game for it to be worth it. I think that I was able to finish this game within 2 hours, which honestly is kind of ideal for sometimes, because sometimes I want to be able to finish a game in one stream. It's just nice to be able to do that. I think they're honestly just cheap. Like, they think they can just check it in and out and the developer has no consequences. True. Hi, Jasmine. Welcome in. So the only reason I put this in the middle tier is because I do have like a couple of issues with it. It's the unsettling all the way through, no breathing room to like relax and reset your nervous system. And also the exposure levels were kind of hard for me to get around accessibility wise. But otherwise I thought the story was very interesting. The jump scares were really good. And I would have loved to see more from this developer. So it's a super bummer that people bullied them out of game development. Anyway, now we come to our tried and true Nancy Drew Secrets Can Kill Remastered. This was, I think, probably the first time that I had played it on Senior Detective. And this one, Grape Orange Cool. Exactly. The alarm goes off in the school. This one I would say good game, but it's really short. Good game, but they really didn't change anything about it from the original to the remastered, except for some of the graphics were upgraded, like character models and whatnot. And the character addition of Detective Beach and the switch up in the culprit. I don't think that was enough of a change. I wish they would have changed more, or at least like added some new things in there to make it more interesting. I did appreciate the amount of Easter eggs that were in this game though, and like paying homage to not just the game series but also some of the fans and stuff like that. So it's a good game, but definitely not one of my faves. And like I said before, it doesn't bother me too much when a game is really short. Like, there's a place for that. But for a Nancy Drew game, for a mystery game, I want it to take me longer than an hour and a half to play. I just feel like they could have added more twists and turns to make it a little bit more interesting. Didn't like how Daryl looked in the remastered, and you know what? That's totally fair. And hey, if you guys have been around for a while, which most of you have, you're gonna know about this one. You're gonna know that Scarlet Hollow is one of my favorite games of all time. And December was my first time playing it on stream. We played through Chapter 1 in December. We will be playing through Chapter 2 if we reach the sub goal this month. There are supposed to be 7 chapters, I believe, in this game, and they're releasing the 5th this year. I love it so much. It is a visual novel horror / dating sim game, and it's an absolute masterpiece. The animations are hand-drawn, the scripting is so good, the characters are so interesting, the horror is so good. Yes, this was the one with the peanuts on the bus. Yes, it's just such a delight, and you're able to kind of like craft your character in a way because you get to choose character traits, and that affects the dialogue of the game. There are multiple pathways of dialogue, so they say that you can never see more than 15% of the game in a single playthrough, which is super wild. You should give it another try. You definitely should. The VOD is on YouTube if you want to see Chapter 1. and that way you can kind of skip around if things make you like squeamish or uncomfortable. But the first episode is pretty tame because you're just starting to get into like the dark secrets of the town. So one of my favorites of the year. I guarantee you it will also be in my top 10 of 2026. I love it. I love it so much. Untitled Goose Game, unfortunately, it was extremely frustrating to me. It was so frustrating, and I think if I had played it like co-op style, like with a second person playing with me, it would have been a lot easier, but having to do these crazy little tasks on my own within the time frame that could help me advance through the puzzles, I just didn't like it. And it's a shame because it fits the brand. It fits the Goose brand, but I just didn't have fun. I was like counting down the minutes before I could stop playing this game. So that's a shame. Very sad about that. But, you know, there had to be at least one game down here. Moving on to Spy Fox Dry Cereal. I really enjoyed this. I think out of all of the games that I played in Nostalgia November, this would be one of my favorites. I almost want to put this in I would recommend this to people. But I think I'm going to put this here because there were times that I was feeling like the game path was a little bit unintuitive. The things that I was supposed to do next were not just coming to me super easily. And based on the fact that it is a children's game, I feel like it should be a little bit more intuitive. But I loved the little mini games that were a part of this one. I thought the story was silly, very silly, goofy. The characters were fun. So yeah, I would put Spy Fox Dry Cereal up here. It was a good time. And then we have Gourdlets. Gourdlets I will also put in good game, but Gourdlets was so much fun when I first started it. But I think it gets to a point where you're doing the same thing over and over, and there's just not enough to it. If I had more variety in what I could use to decorate, if I had maybe more elements of like a mini game here and there or something like that, it would have been a more replayable game. But as far as like my first impression goes, I thought it was super cute. It was fun that chat was able to be integrated into the game, and the decorating aspect was just really fun. But it's not a game that I would just be super eager to reach for again. But it's a game that I feel like people should try out. It's a good one. Yeah, Spy Fox was fun. I did enjoy it. Okay, Nancy Drew, Alibi in Ashes. This is another one, of course, that I've played before. This was, I think, my first time playing it on Senior Detective. Where do I want to put this? I'm stuck in between good game but, and I would recommend this to people. Because I do feel like it's a good one to start out with when it comes to the Nancy Drew franchise. It's a really fun one. You have mini games in there that are fun. You've got the ice cream. The ice cream is always fun. And it's pretty intuitive. Like this one, you're not gonna get super stuck in it for the most part, even on Senior Detective. I know that there are some triggers that are hard to like find to advance the game, but for the most part, I think that it's one of the better ones to start with. So I think I am going to put it in I would recommend this to people, which might feel a little bit controversial. I don't know. It's good with amount of characters too. Yeah. And I like all of the characters for different reasons. Some of them are infuriating and like horrible people, but that makes the cast of characters really interesting, which I like. So I think that Alibi in Ashes fits up here pretty well. It does deserve some love. Then we have Lily's Well, which is a pixel graphics horror game. This one was really interesting. And I think that it's a multiple endings style of game as well, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've played this one. But it was fascinating. I will say it was a little bit hard to navigate at times, which makes me want to put it in a lower tier. But as far as like intrigue and atmosphere, I thought that it was pretty stellar. Like, I really enjoyed the atmosphere of the game and the story of it. The actual gameplay mechanics of the game were harder for me to navigate than I would have liked, so I'm going to put it in the middle tier. But if you don't mind having to reach for a walkthrough every now and then that's a good one. Ghost Dogs and Moon Lake. Ghost Dogs and Moon Lake is one of my favorite Nancy Drew games of the franchise. It's in my top 5. But is it in my top 10 of the year? As far as all of the games that I've played? I don't know. That feels kind of hard. Because look at all these games that we still have to talk about. I know. I'm so excited to talk about the Blackwell games. It is a really cozy game. It is a really cozy game, and it's very nostalgic to me. Oh, that's hard. It's really tough. I think I am gonna put it in favorites of the year. I might end up moving it down if I fill this up too quickly. But for now, we'll put it in favorites of the year because really, you cannot go wrong with this game. I know there are some people that don't like it as much as some other Nancy games, but for me, it is top tier, and I just love it. The soundtrack is one of my favorites in the entire franchise. The setting is one of my favorites in the entire franchise. So good. Treasure in the Royal Tower, this is another one that's like high up in my Nancy ranking list that I'm like, do I want to put it in favorites of the year? I'm going to put it here for now though. It's, again, soundtrack is amazing. Characters are amazing. The plot is kooky and fun. Did I talk about the setting? I love the setting of this game. Really, any Nancy Drew game that takes place in the winter is gonna be appealing to me. Something about me, I love a game set in the winter. Blue, you're gonna have to play this one. It's great. It's great. I have sound alerts dedicated to this game. Yeah, it's a good one for sure. Okay, next we have Blackwell Convergence. And honestly, trying to remember what happened in each of these games is kind of a struggle for me. They all kind of run together. Oh, Minetta. Okay, thank you, Owen, for setting me straight. I'm famous there, you know. Okay, so this one's iconic for some quotes, for sure. Is this the third in the franchise? Am I thinking of that correctly? Okay. I'm gonna say pretty easily that I would recommend this to people. And this is probably where most of the Blackwell games are going to go. Because hear me when I say, if you have not played the Blackwell Legacy series, you are missing out. You are missing out. This series changed my life, and I loved it so much. We are actually listening to the soundtrack right now, which slays, by the way. It slays. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This one is a good... Hear me out. This one is a good game, but... Good game in the way that I love the lore. The actual, like, environment and atmosphere of the game is great. I love watching people play this game. I love watching people play this game. It is a great one to experience as, like, a cinematic experience. Do I love playing this game? No. And It just stresses me out so much. It stresses me out so much to have to be in chase mode for like the entire time that I'm playing it. I constantly feel like I'm being chased. Whenever I'm not being chased, it's because I'm shooting at something or I'm trying to solve a puzzle that doesn't make sense to me. So as far as like playability, it's not my fave. But I appreciate the story, I appreciate the lore, I appreciate like everything artistically about the game, which makes me put it in the mid tier because I know that I love this game. But playing it is such a different experience from watching it. Will I finish this game? Yeah. I'm gonna finish this game. But it will have to be in like hour-long increments because it's tough. It's tough for me. That's how I feel about most Resident Evil games. Yeah, I fear that is how I will be with most Resident Evil games as well. But moving on to something far more cozy, we've got Nancy Drew Message in a Haunted Mansion. And this one, I will say, I'll say that I would recommend this to people. It's another one that doesn't feel quite as intuitive as I would typically like, but I really like the environment of it. I love the characters. It's a great early classic Nancy Drew game, and it's one that I feel like most people enjoy. Top 5 Nancy for me, but I know that's not popular. I mean, that's fair. It's one that if you love it, you love it. And most people don't hate it. Like, it's either you like it or you love it, in my opinion. Maybe there are people that hate it, but I feel like I don't come across very many people that are like, this is objectively a bad game. So I think I would recommend it to people. I feel like it's a good one. Legend of the Crystal Skull, you already know. You already know it's my favorite Nancy Drew game of all time. It's going in my favorites of the year. Okay. Yeah, genuinely, there's nothing that I dislike about Legend of the Crystal Skull. There are puzzles that are difficult, but that does not mean they're impossible. The plot of the game is a little bit kooky, but for the most part, it is cohesive and makes sense to me. It doesn't feel like there are a bunch of plot holes that make the game feel, like, annoying. I don't know. I love it. I love it so much. The rainy day atmosphere is so perfect when it comes to like setting the vibe, setting the tone of the game. And it's unsettling without it being like uncomfortably scary. I love that. I'm also man age, so I'm more forgiving with old game mechanics. That's fair. That's totally fair. Creature of Kapu Cave, I will say that I enjoyed more playing it this time than I did the last time that I played it on stream. And part of that is because I finally got the Frass puzzle correct on the first try. So I was happy about that. However, this is never one that I recommend to people. Partially because of the Frass puzzle, partially because the plot of the game really doesn't make any sense. And I think that I really only play this game for nostalgia reasons. So we're gonna go with good game, but. Good game, but. Puzzles are weird. Plot is weird. And Nancy's a bad girlfriend, so we're gonna go with that. Hot mess of writing for sure. Okay, now we have the Emily is Away games. We'll start with Emily is Away 1. And honestly, all 3 of them can go in one play was enough. There was nothing really about these games that appealed to me too much. I just wanted more. I wanted more depth to it. And the game just wasn't designed for like major story depth, and it was too much teenage drama for me. I have been out of high school for many years, And I did not enjoy my trip back to high school when I played these games. Yeah, I did not enjoy revisiting high school playing these games. By the time I got to the third one, I was so tired of it. So, yeah, one play was enough. It's not that they're bad games. It's probably what is more accurate is I should not have played them all so close together. If I had spaced them out a little bit more, maybe I would have had a better experience. But they didn't do anything for me. They really didn't do anything for me. Supermarket Together is a co-op game that I played with Dylan next door. Can we get a shout out for Dylan, please? Supermarket Together was fun. It was fun. It's a good one to play as a co-op game. It most definitely wasn't like a favorite of the year or anything like that. But would I recommend it to people? I mean, yeah, if you're looking for a co-op game that's not too challenging, I would say it's a good one to play. It was fun. It was a silly, goofy time. Sure. I'm on observation duty. I would recommend this to people. It's basically a spot the difference game with a horror twist, and I think that's super fun. The first one in the franchise is not my favorite of the franchise, so I'm excited to continue on and play more of them with you. But the first one, I would definitely recommend either watching streamers play this game or playing it yourself if you're looking for a game like that. Stressful. I do understand why it can be stressful for some, partially because of like the unsettling horror element, but also because sometimes it's genuinely difficult to spot the difference. Can you hear Clover howling in the background? But I do really enjoy these games a lot. Okay, Blackwell Unbound, which is the second game in the Blackwell Legacy series. What is the main thing of this game? Like I said before, I have trouble keeping them all straight. She wants to see her friends. You're the aunt. Oh yeah, that was so confusing for me. I think I played the entire game thinking that I was still Rosangela. And that was confusing. And for that reason, I think I'm going to put it a little bit lower. Because I really think I played the entire game not knowing who I was. Which is not a good sign, and maybe that's my fault, but they could have been a little bit more clear, I think, about that. And part of that, too, is because I played the first and second games, like, months apart from each other. But still, I'm going to put it lower, although I do still love it. Like I said, the Blackwell Legacy series is stellar. Stellar. And you should be playing it. Unboxing the Cryptic Killer is another co-op game. I played this with Emil in streams, and if we could get a shout out for Emils, that would be great as well. We played this together for the PanCan fundraiser, and it was fun. I will say it was a little too smart for me at times. There were some puzzles that I was like, I have absolutely no clue what's going on, and Thank God for Emils, because without her, I don't think I would have been able to... I wouldn't have been able to get through this game. But I did like the like plot of the game, although the twist at the end was a little bit predictable. And I think that there's going to be a second one, which is exciting and fun. I'm going to say, as far as co-op games go, it's a good game, but the puzzles were too hard for me. And is that embarrassing to say? Maybe a little bit, but we're being honest here. We're going to be honest here about the capacity of our brains. And this game, I didn't have enough brain cells to feel confident in my abilities to defuse the bomb and solve the puzzles. But for all of you puzzling nerds out there that are looking for a co-op game, that's probably a good one. Nancy Drew the Shattered Medallion. Y'all know that this is my least favorite game in the franchise, and the only reason I keep replaying it is because it's a Nancy Drew game, and I have always vowed that I will continue to replay all of the Nancy Drew games because they're there. But my first play was too much. Replaying it is too much. And I know that some people like the Shattered Medallion, but it is simply not for me. It is simply not for me. And we will leave it at that. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I do love a tycoon game. However, one play was enough for this one. The font was too small. The text was too small for my old lady eyes to read. And hey, we have an ad for laxative. So if anybody needs help in that area, there's your advertisement for that. Thank you, YouTube. I'm so sick of the YouTube ads. Just let me listen to my music. Okay. Anyway, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I had a lot of like accessibility problems with this one. The controls were hard to understand. The text was too small. The audio was inconsistent. So a lot of like logistical reasons are going into why I didn't really enjoy this game. I also didn't grow up playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, so there was no real nostalgia factor for me. So I would say one play was enough for this one. And we'll leave it at that. Nancy Drew Phantom of Venice is definitely my top 10 Nancy Drew games. Is it in my top 10 of the year? No. Would I recommend it to people? Also probably no, because there are some puzzles that are not fun if you don't know what you're doing. Scopa is not for everybody. But I do really love this game. I do really love this game, but it's not one that I recommend to people, and it's not one of my favorites of the year. So we're gonna put it here. We're gonna put it here, and I hope that you understand. Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. Hi Samantha, welcome in. Happy New Year. Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon is one that I recommend to people. Absolutely. Absolutely. This game is great. It has a great cast of characters. Being on the train is really cool and unique. It's a good winter vibe. Again, I do love a winter game. What else? The soundtrack is great. We have the Hardy Boys. Like, you really cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong with this game. And also, to be clear, Phantom of Venice is, like, I think it's in my S tier Nancy Drew games. But as far as, like, games of 2025, it ranks lower than some other games that I've played in the past year. Life is Strange Double Exposure, we have not finished. We have only played the first 2 chapters, so this ranking is tentative. This ranking is tentative. But I think for that reason I'm going to put it in the middle tier since I have not finished the game. I'm enjoying it. I don't really have any real problems with it. But I can't in good conscience recommend it to anybody because I haven't finished it. So it's going to go there. The Haunted Carousel. Last Train was my last 2025 free play, and now I'm taking at least this year off from Nancy. 'Twas a great one to finish with. Taking a year off of Nancy is a very understandable thing to do. Sometimes you just need a break from replaying games to remember why you love the games. And maybe someday I'll do that. But, I mean, to be honest, I took kind of a, like, decade-long hiatus from playing Nancy Drew games because I just didn't have a computer that would run them. So, I'm not taking a break anytime soon. Anyway, next Nancy game, The Haunted Carousel. I would say, kind of for similar reasons as Secrets Can Kill, this is a good game, but. This is a good game, but I wish it could have leaned a little bit more into the haunted part of the Haunted Carousel. It would have been cool to have some spooky vibes. Maybe being able to visit the amusement park at night would have been really cool. It's a great one to start out with because it is very easy in terms of like puzzles and the actual intuitive nature of the game. but it's not one of my favorites. It's definitely not one of my favorites. The final scene... Okay, listen. I love the final scene. But similar to Reasons of Phantom of Venice, I can't recommend this to people. I cannot recommend the final scene to people as their first Nancy Drew game, or even one of their early Nancy Drew games, because sometimes it can be so hard to advance the game. If you don't know what you're doing, you could get stuck really easily. Things that I love about this game: the characters, Nicholas Falcone, he gets his own category. Nancy's sassiness, the high stakes of the game, like the tension that you feel trying to solve the mystery. I love this game as a Nancy Drew game, but I don't think I would recommend it to people if I was trying to introduce them to the franchise. So I'm going to put it in, it's a good game, but yeah. My first game was Curse of Blackmore Manor, and I don't know how I continued in the franchise after that. And I'll get into why that is in a minute. But next is The Silent Spy. I loved this game so much the first time I played it. But the more that I play it, the more that I find problems with it. And honestly, I'm not excited to replay it. I still haven't played it on Senior Detective. So it's coming up on that time where I will be replaying it, and I've kind of been putting it off. And that's kind of unfortunate. This is one of those, I feel like this has been talked about a million times, but the later you get into the Nancy Drew franchise, the more you get into the personal era of games where you're like digging into like Nancy's personal lore, and like relationships are very at the forefront of the plot. And while that is interesting to me, and I do love a lore drop, it kind of weighs down the vibes of the game. The Silent Spy is a sad game, and I don't play Nancy Drew to be sad. And so for that reason, we're putting it here as well. It's a good game, but I don't want to be sad while I'm playing Nancy Drew, and that game makes me sad. Alex Hill Whispers at White Oak Inn. Oh, this was a great game. Can't play it anymore because it's sad and also yeah. Yes, Tori, honestly, listening to the podcast episode made me think differently about some of those games. Because, again, like I said, playing Silent Spy for the first time, it was so enthralling and so captivating. And now when I go back to it, I'm like, it's fine. So I feel like it was like the shock value of learning anything about Nancy's life was so like interesting. And now that we've learned all of it, there's no intrigue there anymore. I'm trying to decide if Alex Hill is in my top 10 or not, to be honest with you. Like, I loved Alex Hill. And I think that it's a great successor to the Nancy Drew games. I think that for now I want to put Alex Hill in my favorites of the year. This is a great point and click mystery if you enjoy the Nancy Drew games and you miss that classic feel. The character models left a little bit to be desired. It was a little bit uncanny valley, but that kind of adds to the charm of it, in my opinion. There's a great plot twist in this game. You get to eat food in this game. Yeah, the twist was so good. Had my jaw on the floor. I'm so excited to see where the series goes next. I really think that it could be in my top 10 of the year, so we're going to put it up there. Now, Curse of Blackmore Manor, like I said, was my first Nancy Drew game, but it was too hard for me to finish when I first played it. So for that reason, I can't recommend it to people as their introduction to the series. Ryan, thanks so much for the raid, and Seller, thank you for the hydrate as well. I don't know when that happened, but I missed it a long time ago. Welcome in, Raiders. If you need to raid run, feel free to do so. Take care of yourselves. But if you'd like to stick around and review all of the games we played in 2025, I would love that. I would love you to do so. Okay, so Curse Walker Manor, I love it. I love it. It introduced me to the franchise. It's very nostalgic to me. The vibes are super good. But it's not one of my favorites of the year, and it's not necessarily one that I recommend to people, and I'm just gonna say that it's a good game, but unfortunately a lot of Nancy games are going here, and that's just the way it is. I love Nancy Drew for the nostalgia factor, but some of the games are just kind of a miss for people that did not grow up with them. Yeah, we played 77 games in 2025. So we've still got tons to talk about. Zoombinis. Zoombinis is such a fun, classic nostalgia game. And it's educational. Is there anything that I don't like about Zoombinis? I feel like there are a couple of puzzles that I don't really like. Puzzles that I don't really understand, which makes me feel kind of stupid. So that's not my favorite thing, but it's definitely one that I've enjoyed replaying. So I think I'm also gonna put it in the mid tier. This mid tier is really getting full. I love Mall Tycoon. That's one of my favorite tycoon games of them all. Shadow Ranch is a great one to start with when it comes to the Nancy Drew franchise. Is it a favorite of the year? I don't think so, but it's in my top 10 of my Nancy Drew games for sure. I love Shadow Ranch. It's a great intro, like I said. The characters are iconic. The mystery is so well written. The vibes are perfect. I love it. I'm so excited to replay it on Senior Detective. It's just a great game overall. I love it. The Blackwell Deception is the second to last game in the Blackwell Legacy series. I think I'm going to put this one in. I would recommend this to people because I did like it better than Blackwell Unbound, but it's not my favorite of the franchise, I don't think. I'm trying to remember. Let's be honest. The Blackwell Epiphany is gonna be in my top 10 games of the year because did it make me cry? Hey, yeah, it did. Actually, I cried a lot. I cried a lot when I finished this game. It kind of tore me up inside. Like just thinking about it right now, I could actually shed a tear. The whole series is so good, and again, I will say it one more time. One more time I will say it. If you have not played the Blackwell Legacy series, you have to play it. They go on sale on Steam all the time. I think for the winter sale, they were 70% off, so there's always going to be a good time to purchase it. Just saying, it's so good. Haunting of Castle Malloy. This one, shocker, is gonna go in good game, but because it's so chaotic. It's so chaotic and it's so kooky, and that gives it its charm. But things that I don't like about it, number one is the exposure of the game. It is so dark. It is so hard to see anything in this game. And that's a problem that I have with a lot of games, but it's just a shame to have that problem with a Nancy Drew game. That's like, honestly, my biggest issue with the game is just that I can't see anything. Penelope Pendrick, I think, is in here somewhere. It's not. Okay, Penelope Pendrick will be an honorable mention. It should be here, but I guess the file did not transfer in here. We will talk about Penelope Pendrick. Nancy Drew Resorting to Danger, I think I liked No, you didn't miss Unavowed. That one also didn't save in here. Sometimes the image files are not supported by the tier maker website, and so they don't like get added into the list. But I will talk about Penelope and Unavowed both whenever we finish out the rest of them as like honorable mentions, because they should also be in here. Apologies for that. We'll consider that a technical difficulty. Nancy Drew resorting to danger. I feel like one play was enough. The dossier games are fun. They're hidden object games at their core, and that's fun. But it's not something that I just love always. And so every once in a while I might get the itch to play these again, but for the most part I would say one play was enough for them, although this one does have maybe a little bit more replayability than Lights, Camera, Curses does. But as far as Nancy Drew games go, they're not my favorite. Not my favorite. Agatha Christie, The ABC Murders, one play was too much. This game was glitchy. It was hard for me to understand at times, and it felt too long. Fate is a game that I play. I'm surprised that I played this in 2025. Did I play this in 2025? I don't know, but I love it. I would recommend this game to people. It's a game that I grew up on. It's set in like kind of medieval times, and basically it's like a dungeon crawler game. You are tasked with a quest to save the town from this entity that lives at the bottom of this dungeon, and so you go on quests to continue your descent into the dungeon, and you like level up your character as you go. And it definitely plays like it's an old game. I think it was released in like 2005 or something, but it's still so much fun to me. And if you like games like that, then you're gonna like this game, I think. But that's the long and short of it for Fate. Phasmophobia, I'm gonna be so honest with you. I have a really hard time playing Phasmophobia. It's fun in a way, but it is so stressful to me. And when I'm stressed out playing a game, it just takes out the fun for me. But I don't want to say that one play was too much, because I would be willing to revisit it in the future as a co-op game. But to me, like if I were purely deciding for myself, do I really want to go back to Phasmophobia? The truth is one play was enough. I'm glad that I did it once, but it's just not my style of game. It's so unsettling to me. I'm always on the edge of my seat in a bad way. So that's how I feel about Phasmophobia. That might be a really unpopular opinion, but that's fine. Slay the Princess was created by Black Tabby Games, who also did Scarlet Hollow. I would say Slay the Princess is a high recommendation for me. Like, you should play Slay the Princess if you enjoy a visual novel horror game with multiple endings. This is a great one. This is the first game that they released as a full-length game. And again, the animation style, the art style is absolutely beautiful, all hand-drawn. Really just a fascinating game. The premise of it is you are told in the beginning of the game that instead of saving the princess, you are supposed to slay her, because she is going to end the world as we know it if you do not end her life. So you, as the hero, get to decide, do I want to save the world or save the princess? Do I want to slay the princess and save the world? Like, it's just a bunch of choices, a bunch of dialogue that you get to go through, and it's very interesting. The music is also amazing. So I would definitely recommend it to people, for sure. Trooper Book, which we are listening to the soundtrack of this game right now. This is a kind of a cozy sci-fi point and click, set in the 1960s, if I remember correctly. It's very like almost Doctor Who vibes, in my opinion. Very interesting game. I wish I saw more streamers playing it because I really found it to be fascinating. It is like some point and click games tend to be, it is not intuitive at all. There are some points of the game where it's really hard to advance the plot because you're looking for a very, very specific thing that is very, very hard to find. So that makes me a little bit more hesitant to recommend it to people, but I did really enjoy playing this game and exploring the world of Trooper Brooke. So if you're interested in sci-fi as a genre, especially like point and click style gaming, this is just a really interesting plot. So consider it. Consider putting it on your list. Hi Kels, welcome in. Good to see ya. The Captive Curse is lower in my ranking of Nancy Drew games, so it will be lower here as well. But I feel like the more I play it, the more that I have kind of a soft spot for it. There are things that I like about this game. Yeah, so the Captive Curse, I think I'm gonna put in the middle tier as well. It's growing on me as a game. It's growing on me, but it's not one that I just love to replay. I think the thing that I like about this game more than anything is the mini game selections. And Lucas as a character. I love Lucas. It sounds like I need to invest in YouTube Premium at this point, because that's crazy. They must have changed something at the new year where ads were more prevalent, because I've never had this much I've never had this much trouble with it. Secret of the Scarlet Hand, I think I would recommend it to people. That might feel a little bit controversial because some people don't like it for the speed of the game and also like the heavy emphasis on like the educational gaming, but I love it. I love an educational game. I find this game to be really charming and really interesting. I enjoy most of the mini games in there. It's the first of many games where we see Sunny June mentioned, Coco Kringles. Like it's kind of the iconic beginnings of a lot of Nancy Drew lore, which makes it a really good game to start with, in my opinion, even though parts of the game are not quite as intuitive. But really, really like it. Really, really recommend. It's a great one. It's a great one. Scarlet, my beloved. I think it's also somewhere in the high middle. Yeah. I think it's up there. It's definitely grown on me as I've continued replaying it, because I remember when I was younger not liking it quite as much, probably because of the heavy emphasis on education, but I love that now. Sims 4, we only streamed that I think once in 2025. And Sims 4 is one of those games where I go through phases where I will either play it nonstop for like weeks, or I will not play it at all for years. And right now I'm in the slump of like, I don't want to play The Sims. I'm not interested. I'd rather do anything else. But I know that at some point in the year, I'm going to have a moment where I'm like, I need to reopen The Sims. But all of that being said, because of the unpredictability of my desire to play it, I'm gonna say good game, but I think that it would be a lot more fun to play if I had like expansion packs and stuff like that. But I've never felt the desire or the need to invest money into this game. So we're gonna keep it in there. Day of the Tentacle, I was talking to Bud about this earlier because Bud is the one that recommended this game to me. I didn't like it, girl. I didn't like it. It was almost impossible for me to get through without following a walkthrough like every step of the way. And that was so annoying. It was so annoying. And those were also streams that I just had a very low viewer count. And while that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, I feel like Day of the Tentacle would have been a lot more fun if I had had some people to like play off of and like joke around with about the game. But because there was very little engagement when I was playing this game, it just felt like I was in it alone, and I already didn't like the game, so I was like, if I'm playing this by myself, what is the point? Yeah, Day of the Tentacle, not for me. I understand the nostalgia factor for some people, but definitely not one that I'm going to be replaying anytime soon. That's fair, Maggie. I didn't even think about that. That's totally fair. Sea of Darkness is one that I enjoy, but as far as the Nancy Drew franchise goes in general, it's not one of my favorites, and maybe that's just because I don't have a lot of nostalgia built in for this game because it is one of the later ones. The graphics of this game are like top tier. They're the best of any Nancy Drew game there is. I don't think that this is one that I would recommend to people as like an intro to the game. Part of this is because, again, with the Nancy lore, the personal relationship drama that is embedded in this game, it just kind of bothers me, and it tends to be more of an annoyance than like an enhancement of the game. So I'm going to put this one in good game, but I'm excited to replay it because we're playing it tomorrow on stream. But I don't know. It's just not one of my favorites. So we'll see how I feel after I replay it again, but it's definitely going to go in the mid tier for me. Sea of Darkness is a game we will be playing tomorrow. Exactly. We should watch the Northern Lights. Y'all remind me to take a minute to watch the Northern Lights in Sea of Darkness, because that sounds super relaxing. Labyrinth of Lies. This is one of the Nancy Drew games that I just am not a big fan of. I feel like upon a replay, it might grow on me a little bit, but we're gonna put it in one play was enough. Ooh, sorry. This is also the only Nancy game that's in one play was enough so far. That's crazy. Ghost of Thornton Hall. I've talked about this before, but every time I replay it, I like it a little bit less. So for that reason, I almost want to say that one play was enough because the first play was the best play. And if I had just stopped there, I would have had a much different opinion of it. The scares do hold up. I do still get scared in this game a little bit. I think I kind of do want to put it here, but that feels like really crazy. To put this alongside Labyrinth of Lies feels really crazy, but for some reason, it also feels kind of right. So we're going to put it there. Warnings at Waverly Academy is so good. Of course I recommend this to people. It's one of the like top rated Nancy Drew games for a reason. Everybody loves this game, I feel like. Snack Shop Boss, we love. Double Take, we love. Nailed It, we love. There's just pretty much nothing bad that I can say about this game. So down for thinking less and less of Ghost of Thornton Hall. Yeah, it's just one of those things. And I'm also going to put Secret of the Old Clock kind of low. It's just not one of my favorites. It is a good one to start out with, but to me, it's so simple that it's almost kind of boring. So I'm gonna put it in one play was enough. This is not one that I'm ever excited to replay, unfortunately. Shadow at the Water's Edge. Shadow at the Water's Edge. This is such a good game also. I would definitely say I recommend it to people. I almost want to put it in my favorites of the year. I really enjoyed playing it on Senior Detective even, which is saying a lot because this game has a lot of puzzles that are very difficult for me. And yet, playing it on Senior Detective did not make me like the game any less. So that really speaks to the quality of the game, I think. Espresso Tycoon, I found out after playing it that elements of it were made by AI, which significantly drops my opinion of the game. Did I enjoy playing it? Yes, but just knowing that AI was used in the development of this game makes me feel icky about it. So I want to put it in one play was too much. I feel icky about that. So that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. I'm not a supporter of AI. Blue, you're talking about Shadow of the Water's Edge, yes? That's what I assume, because you haven't played Espresso Tycoon, to my knowledge. Midnight in Salem. One play was enough. Although, I will say, it does grow on me a teeny tiny bit every time I play it, just because I know what to expect now. But it's not a great game, and the Clue Crew knows. They get it. Deadly Device has grown on me every time I've played it. I don't know if I would recommend it to people because it is so puzzle heavy, and that makes it a little bit more daunting to play. And it's one of the longer games, and I don't know if I love the length of it. It kind of feels a little bit long. But overall, I think it's a really good game, and I really enjoy replaying it. So I'm going to put it in good game, but for now. Tomb of the Lost Queen, I don't love, but I did enjoy it more this last time that I played it than I have in the past. I don't know, this one just kind of annoys me. Like, I wanted it to be so much better than it was. I had really high expectations for it because of the setting, and I was really excited for like a historical archaeology vibe, and I got a little bit of that, obviously, but the characters in it were so annoying to me. The only saving grace was Hotchkiss being a phone character, and even that at times I wasn't a huge fan of. I don't know, it's just not my favorite. I do like the mini game, the little board game that's in it. Let's say good game, but Starmie Valley. Are you talking about Scarlet Hollow? You have to play it. You have to play it. It's so good. It's my favorite. I think chapter 1 is a free demo, if I'm not mistaken. That's true. Bess's dialogue in Tomb of the Lost Queen is good, but because that's optional, I so often like bypass that. Not intentionally, but just because I don't think to call them. And so for that reason, it doesn't really bump up the rating of the game that much. Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a good game, but the characters annoy me so much. They annoy the heck out of me. There is really no likable character in the entire game, and that makes it hard to root for anyone. Oh, you still have to watch the VODs. It was a fun time playing it for sure. It was a good time. But like I said, the characters being unlikable just made it so hard to stay like totally invested. The likable characters die in the prologue, right? So yeah, not my favorite. The Quarry, however, I would say is better. I would recommend this one to people. I enjoyed the setting more, I think. I enjoyed the characters more. I enjoyed the story more. Yeah, this one was just better to me. Yeah, agreed. The Quarry is definitely superior. Life is Strange 2 True Colors is one of my least favorite in the Life is Strange franchise. So it's not one that I would recommend to people, but it is still a good game, and it is a good franchise overall. So I'm going to put it here. But I feel like this is one of the cringier ones to me, which is saying something because they're all kind of cringy. Okay, hold on. I gotta scroll up. Payne's Creek Killings is in my top 10 of the year. If you haven't played this game, do your best to play it without spoilers, because genuinely, when I tell you, the plot twist at the end had me, like, jaw on the floor. It was everything. It was everything. I loved the style of this game. It was like you were a real detective, working through a real case. I was screaming. I was having the, like, most fun panic attack of my life. It was so good. It's, like, heavy on the mystery with a side of unsettling horror, and that is just, like, the perfect blend to me. It was so cool. It was so unique. I've never played a game like it. And I would just love to see more people talking about this game, playing this game. I want to see more from these developers. Yeah, you should absolutely play it. It was phenomenal. One of the best mystery games that I've ever played. Now, a game that is not one of the best games I've ever played. Well, first, Aaron, I was talking about Payne's Creek Killings. It's a must play. It is a must play. Mystery of the Seven Keys, I'm going to put it as in one play was enough. It was disappointing, just like Midnight in Salem was disappointing. But I would say Mystery of the Seven Keys was maybe disappointing for different reasons. I was disappointed that I couldn't play it on... Okay, hold on. Mystery of the Seven Keys was disappointing for different reasons than Midnight in Salem. And one of my major qualms with this game is that the point-and-click style of playing it is, like, impossible to navigate, and you basically have to do the WASD navigation, which is not my favorite. I thought the environments were not filled out enough. There was not enough, like, life in the environments for me. The soundtrack was repetitive, although it was... Some of the tracks were fine, but because of the way that the tracks were placed, if you were doing a puzzle for a really long time, you were hearing the same track on a loop, and it got really annoying. Not to mention the puzzles in this game were really hard to solve without a walkthrough. So yeah, it's a one play was enough game, but I will be replaying it because it's an integer game. You guys know the drill. Kathy Rain 2, another game that I cried at the end. Another game in my top 10. It was so good. I love the Kathy Rain series. It's such a good point and click mystery with, like, a supernatural horror element that is just so fascinating and cool. I cannot say enough good things about Kathy Rain as a whole, but the second game really was a phenomenal sequel, and I would recommend these games to anyone. City Skylines, this is kind of similar to Sims 4, where it's one of those games that I get the, like, urge to play it every, like, 6 months. But honestly, one play was enough. One play was enough. It was a fun tycoon style game, but it's not something that I see myself going back to anytime soon. But I did like it better than Roller Coaster Tycoon. I will say that. Tiny Bookshop. I would definitely recommend it to people. It's possible that it's going to go in my top 10. It was super cozy. I loved that they used real book titles in the game. Definitely came away with some book recommendations for myself after playing this game. The soundtrack was good. The setting was super, super cute. I loved that you could decorate your bookshop and like customize it a little bit. That was fun. So definitely enjoyed it a lot. This one, I think I only played it once. It was a stream chat game, so chat could be integrated into this game, and it was fun. But I will say one play was enough. It's not something that I'll be going back to anytime soon. Yeah, Tiny Bookshop did make for nice streams. They were good lurking streams for people. Fallout New Vegas, unfortunately, is going to go in good game, but while I do enjoy Fallout New Vegas, it is so glitchy. Like, the game crashes almost every time that I play it at least once, which is so obnoxious. Why do we have to do that, you know? So I hate that. And the main quest of it has been really hard for me to actually get through because, I don't know, it's just not like, my character's not leveled up enough or something, but it is really hard for me to accomplish the main quest line, and that's been a little bit frustrating for me, but maybe it'll grow on me a little bit. I know that some people are like a little bit disappointed, in my opinion, in Fallout New Vegas, because it's really nostalgic for a lot of people, which I guess is how I feel about Fallout 4. So I guess it depends on which game in the Fallout franchise you played first. For me, it was Fallout 4. For a lot of people, it was New Vegas. But I just really can't get past the glitchiness of it. It makes it really hard to fully immerse myself in the world and fully enjoy the game. But because I have such love for the Fallout world building and the Fallout franchise as a whole, it does get the status of good game at least. And we'll go ahead and put Fallout 4 in my favorites of the year, obviously, because I've replayed this game like 4 times. And I'm still playing it on my own to do my cozy Fallout 4 builds, which I'm posting on YouTube every Friday. But yeah, this is definitely my top 10. It'll probably always be in my top 10. And that's that on that. Blueprints might be in my top 10 as well. Blueprints was just so unique. It was so unique and so interesting. I've never played anything like it. It was a really cool twist on the puzzle game genre. And while I didn't play past the discovery of Room 46, because I did reach a point where I was like, this is too much brain power for me. This is too much time. I still like really appreciate the work that went into the game, the art style of the game, the soundtrack. She was a struggle, but it is good. Yeah. Live, laugh, lose, 100%. So I think it earns a spot on my top 10 for a lot of reasons, even if it was a little bit frustrating at times. I just think it was so unique, and I feel like a lot of people should at least like give it a try if they're into puzzle games. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Stardew Valley is an obvious, I would recommend this to people. I love Stardew Valley. It's cozy. It's anti-capitalist. It's fun. It's not in my top 10 of the year because it's just Stardew Valley. It feels like a staple. It feels like something I can always go back to, but it's never something that I'm like, oh, I'm always wanting to play Stardew Valley, you know? So how many games do I have up here right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have one more spot for my top 10. And we have two games to talk about that did not make it in my images. We have Unavowed, which is a part of the Blackwell Legacy series as kind of a spinoff, and Penelope Pendrick, The Art of Deceit. Penelope Pendrick we'll talk about first. I would put that in, I would recommend this to people because it is it is a good successor to the Nancy Drew franchise. However, I feel like Penelope Pendrick had more... It felt like it needed more suspension of disbelief for me. Like there were some like plot holes maybe that I didn't totally love and couldn't completely see past. Like the way that Penelope works with the police, for example. It felt like just a weird relationship between detective and police. And yes, the cops' behavior, baffling. It just felt all very kooky in sometimes a positive way, sometimes a negative way. And so I was kind of waffling back and forth between I love this and I'm not a super fan of this. The graphics were really good. The characters were interesting. I didn't predict the ending by any means, so that was good. I definitely see the potential for this series, and I'm excited to see what's next. But it definitely wasn't like a favorite of the year for me. So I'm looking forward to what's next in Penelope Pendrick, but it was not top rated for the year. I haven't played the Marcella Moon games, but they are in my wish list, so I plan to. I agree, Aaron. I agree. I loved the game. I would recommend it, but there are some things that I just didn't love. The stairs puzzle at the end, bad. Could not get through it without a video tutorial. Not just a walkthrough, video tutorial step by step. Bad. But I do understand people liking Penelope Pendrick better than Alex Hill. There are some things that I can definitely see Penelope did better than Alex and vice versa. But I definitely had a better time with Alex Hill than I did with Penelope Pendrick. And that could change later in the series. So we'll just have to see. I will be playing both of them continuing forward. Unavowed. Owen, are we listening? Unavowed makes it into my top 10. I loved Unavowed. Again, I love everything about the Blackwell Legacy series and everything that's connected to the Blackwell universe. I think I cried in Unavowed as well. I was so emotionally attached to the characters, and I loved that there was a little bit of a choose your own adventure element to it, because you could bring different companions along on different mysteries. There were dialogue options, so the ending could be slightly different depending on like how you played the rest of the game. And it's a game that I want to replay. I think I'm gonna do like a specific let's play for Unavowed pretty soon and go through it in a like totally different way and just see how different it is. But I really loved the experience. I love when a game has replay value. I think that is so cool and so fun. We didn't even do one of the endings, right? So there's just so much more to explore in Unavowed, and I'm excited to get to that. But there you go. This is my ranking for the whole year. We played a lot of really good games this year. There were only a few that really did not make the cut for me. My top 10, just to sum it up in no particular order: Scarlet Hollow, Nancy Drew Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, Nancy Drew Legend of the Crystal Skull, Alex Hill Whispers at White Oak Inn, The Blackwell Epiphany, The Paynes Creek Killings, Kathy Rain 2 Soothsayer, Fallout 4, Blueprints, and Unavowed. Yay! Those are my top 10. I'm so thrilled with the games we played in 2025. I can't wait to see how the games of 2026 compare to this list and all the things that we play together. We have a full weekend planned of games this weekend, so I'm excited to get through all of that. But for now, YouTube, this is goodbye. So if you want to catch me live sometime, you can follow me on Twitch. There's a link in the video description that you can click on to come over here and follow me to get notifications about when I go live. Or you can continue watching the VODs, the Let's Plays, and the Fallout 4 builds here on YouTube by subscribing to this channel. And either way, no matter what you decide, I love you so much. And I will see you next time. Bye.